So this is a story map that I made, and we're going to look at some spatial data to better understand some of the impacts of climate change in our coastal areas. So the first one I'd like to examine is dead zones. This map is a world view of current dead zones that have been identified, and as you can see here in the Gulf region, we have lots and lots of dead zones both along the Gulf Coast and the Atlantic coast. So for instance, if we click on one of these sites, we can learn a little bit more about it. This one is part of the Alabama Inner Shelf area. We know that it's been active since 1950 episodically. And here's a little bit of a comment. Alabama's intercontinental shelf experiences some hypoxia, but it's not widespread, recurring, or seasonally definable. The area of Dauphin Island's been hypoxic from the 1950s based on forum proxies, and they've declined significantly through the 1990s. So this is a nice way to inventory some of the dead zones both locally and globally. Severe weather is another thing that we're facing as a result of climate change. We're all familiar with the hurricane season we had and the severe weather we had in 2017. Here we have Harvey's path up over Mexico. We also have Irma's path up over Florida, and then the path of Hurricane Maria. Additional warming water temperatures in the Gulf area, as well as unstable air over the continent, contributes to this kind of severe weather. Flooding, fires, and other natural disasters, in addition to the hurricanes that we're susceptible to in the Gulf, are all attributed to climate change. Coastal sea level rise is certainly something that's been in the news for those in Florida. This shows you the entire state and gives you an idea of where the impacts would be if we were to experience a 3-foot sea level rise. If we zoom in on some areas, we can take a look at the Tampa Bay area right there and see the difference. And we can also move up to the East Coast and see how the effects also come along the St. Johns River and do impact inland areas, not just exclusively the coast. So what are we going to lose with these kinds of sea level rises? Well, one is going to be an impact to infrastructure. Here the Senate is concerned a little bit about preparation of nuclear power plants along the coast in Florida, and they're trying to get a plan in place to protect against any issues that may come from sea level rise impacting nuclear power plants. Something else that we can begin to mitigate is the impact of sea level rise to historic artifacts and sites. So here we have an example of some of the more well-known tourist forts on the northeast coast, on the original coast. And in the last hurricane season, two of the forts in the St. Augustine area, San Marco and Matanzas, were impacted, and Matanzas is still closed. So this one is still out of business because of the extreme flooding and sea level rise as the barrier island system was breached. And they have plans in place to start mitigating sea level rise for this national monument. So whatever kind of unexpected climate change we may face in the future that we're not quite prepared for yet, or that we don't expect, perhaps one of the best ways to find the solutions is to engage with programs like USF's and have the solutions be up to us. Thank you.